Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today we are working on a 2011 Subaru Outback with the 2.5 liter engine. And today the customer has requested that they wanted to replace a couple of ball joints on this Subaru because it failed the safety inspection. And so the customer came to me, and they provided with their own parts, and so they wanted me to replace the lower ball joints on the Subaru. So today we are going to be working on the driver's side only, and so I'm going to be showing you the driver's side. The passenger side is going to be the exact same thing, so it doesn't matter as to which side I'm going to show here is going to be the exact same thing. So on these Subarus, the hardest part of this job is the pinch bolt, because I live in the Rust Belt, and these pinch bolts, they almost never come out unless they were recently done. So you may need to heat this up with either a torch, with an inductive heater if you have one, to heat these up. Worst case scenario in which I have been through is I had to remove the CV axle out so that I don't damage the CV axle and heat up the pinch bolt. There came a time where I did one. I had to heat up the pinch bolt for like 10 minutes before it started to come free. So you want to be careful with this, because if this breaks, then you're going to have other problems. In the worst case, if you're not able to get this out properly, or if you can't figure something out, you may need to end up replacing the steering knuckle. So I'm going to start with this bolt first, because this one is the hardest one. So we are going to see if this cooperates. I did try to see if I can loosen it up with a ratchet and a socket. This is a 14 mil, and it was not moving. And also I don't want to break this bolt. I'm going to try using the inductive heater, but I don't know if it's going to work. So with the Subarus, sometimes you may get lucky and sometimes you may not get lucky with these pinch bolts. So you really have to be careful. You don't want to try to force to remove this bolt if it's not loosening up. So you want to be careful with these bolts, because if you break something, it's just going to cause more problems and more time in trying to fix this. Not cooperating. I can hear that now. I can hear it, a crack. You can hear a couple of cracks. So we're going to heat it up a little bit more. I think we are on the right track here, so that's the good part. It's my first time using an inductive heater on these Subaru pinch bolts, and initially I was skeptical that these wouldn't work, but man, these things are going to save you a heck of a lot of time, because The last time I did one, I had to torch this thing up with the oxyacetylene. I actually used MAP and oxygen at the same time, and it took like 10 to 15 minutes to heat these things up to get it loose. So these pinch bolts are always troublesome all the time if you live in the Rust Belt. Let's see now if there's any progress. So I have to attempt to do multiple heat cycles with this to get it try to get it red hot. Now I'm not able to place the inductive heater at the other end because these pinch bolts, they just thread inside and that's it. There's no nut in between. Alternatively, you could remove the ball joint boot so that it doesn't smoke and stuff if you're able to. Started to move now. You can see how much play there is because the ball joint is moving a lot. Usually I don't like to use an impact because I don't want to break anything. So we're gonna wear some gloves. This is very hot. That's a rusted pinch bolt. I think the other side is a lot worse than this one. So that was the hardest part of the job. So now we are going to remove the nut with the lower control arm. We have to get the cotter pin out. So we are going to remove the nut. This cotter pin, it may not come out, so we can just break it off and hammer on a socket. So I forgot to show you guys earlier. This is how much play this thing had. So it had quite a bit of play in it. So we're going to attempt to remove the cotter pin if we're able to. I think on this side it was somewhat more recently done than the other side, but this vehicle has 282,000 kilometers on it now, so the customer just bought this last week, and so he just wants to fix the bare minimum stuff just to keep this going. So I believe this may be an aftermarket nut and ball joint. Usually it's like a 19, I think. This one is a 21, I believe. This is a 21 mil. I believe they're usually a 19 on Subarus. So now we are going to get this sucker out. It's rounding off. Okay, so maybe it's a 19, so maybe I'm wrong. So we will put on a 19. Like I said earlier, use a 19. See if we can hammer on a socket. So I was right, it's a 19. That's going to be replaced anyway, so it does not really matter. The new ball joint, it comes with a new nut, but it didn't come with a new pinch bolt and a lock washer for some reason. And so I have a spare new pinch bolt that I had a while ago, so we are just going to use that. So that's that. We need to give it a whacking. I don't want to mushroom the threads out, so I have something which I can use an air hammer on, so I'm going to bring it out. So just trying to get this out now. I might need to use a longer pry bar to get it out. So I was using a special tool that by CTA tools M12 by 1.25 threads, which is this one on the control arm. So I put it on here and just use an air hammer to knock it out. And I typically use these because it makes it easier and you're able to save the threads. So now everything is out. You need to use a big giant pry bar, preferably a 36 inch or a 48 inch to get the ball joint out. So I'm just using a 36 inch pry bar. So we'll see if we're able to get this out. See if I can do it from here. We'll see. Just from here, maybe from underneath the vehicle. I don't know why this whole vehicle is like rotted too. Trying to get some leverage here because I'm on the floor, so it's a bit tough. There you go. That's a tough one, but it's out now. The boot popped off. I might need to use something to hold the control arm down. So we'll see. We can use like a bungee cord or something just to get it out of the way. So now you can tie like a bungee cord or a ratchet strap or something and just tie it up on the bumper or somewhere on the subframe or even here if you want. It doesn't matter. So we are going to get the ball joint out of the knuckle now. So we are just going to remove the old rubber boot junk, and we're going to use the air hammer to knock the the edges here to get it out. So the customer has provided me with an aftermarket ball joint CTR Central Corporation. These are fairly decent aftermarket ball joints, and they often are used on factory vehicles. I have used them before as well. They are okay. They're not the best, but they're fairly decent. They go for, I wouldn't say go for an extremely long time, but they can go the distance. So this is the new one. This only came with the nylock style nut for the control arm. It didn't come with a pinch bolt for this one. I have one that's been sitting around from an old part that I didn't use. And this is the old ball joint. You can see on how bad it is. Pretty loose. I don't know on what this is. I really don't know if it's a Subaru ball joint. But anyhow, I recommend the Subaru OEM ball joints for longevity. And I've also used the Moog ball joints, and they're fairly decent. But you can't go wrong with the original Subaru ball joints. I think the original Subaru ball joints are a whole lot better than anything else. So anyhow, we're going to start cleaning up the knuckle and just go from there. So on these steering knuckles, we can use like a flap wheel onto a drill and clean out the rust and put some grease and stuff before we install the new ball joint. It's not bad and it's not terrible, but we are going to clean it up and then that's it. So once you're done cleaning around the edges here and stuff, you also need to clean the top portion as well. The top portion, you can probably use like a screwdriver or something to clean it out. So for the threads, you can just use a wire attachment brush and just clean inside. Just do that. I like to spray a little bit of like penetrating oil inside there before I install the new bolt. So we're ready to install the new ball joint now. So what I like to do, I like to put some form of anti-seize or grease. I like using grease because that works a lot better than traditional anti-seize. So put some grease all around here. I also put some grease on the ball joint itself. I put some grease on the edges of the ball joint and on top as well, so that if in the future you want to replace it, you shouldn't have any problems at all replacing the ball joint in the future. So we are going to try to install this in. It may fall out, but you need to try to get it to sit in. You can just do it by hand and just install it inside the control arm, so that way it will be fully seated before we put in the pinch bolt. It doesn't matter which way you install these, you just put them in. There's no direction or anything like that. So just trying to seat it in all the way, and then hopefully I can get the control arm to cooperate and go inside the stud of the ball joint. If you want, you can just give this a very small tap. You don't want to tap it too hard, just to seat it in. That's not going to damage anything, but if you hammer very hard, then it's going to damage the new ball joint. So now we are ready to install the control arm into here, and hopefully it won't be too hard of a job, because that's normally the hardest part. I did forget to mention to be careful when you have this out, because you don't want the axle to pop out of the transmission. So you need to ensure that the axle does not pop out. So just be careful, because you already have the ball joint out. Turn this. So now we're just about done. Install the nylock nut for the new ball joint. I'm just going to spin it in. We are going to torque it after. So we're going to tighten this up. I think the torque spec is like 30 something. I'm not sure. Just tighten it up a little bit, just to get the ball joint seated. And then we'll be able to install the pinch bolt next. So this is the new pinch bolt that I had. So right now we're gonna spray some penetrating oil. I just want to lubricate the inside, and we're gonna put quite a bit of grease on this because the pinch bolt was badly seized up in there inside the knuckle. And I can also put the grease inside the knuckle as well if you want, and that's going to prevent problems in the future if in any case that you want to replace the ball joint again, you won't have any issues. So this goes in with the lock washer. Just turn it in and just tighten it up. I'll check the torque specs for these steel control arms, steel steering knuckle, because I know they have a torque spec for the aluminum and steel knuckles. So I'll put the torque spec on the screen. I'm just going to tighten it a tad bit, and we'll torque both bolts, and then that's going to be it. I believe the aftermarket one is a 16 mil. So we're just going to tighten it up snug first, and then we are going to torque it. That's good. So we're going to torque the pinch bolt and the control arm bolt nut, and then that's going to be it. So we are going to torque the lower ball joint. This is 29 foot-pounds, and the pinch bolt 37 foot-pounds. I've seen a range for the pinch bolt, I think usually between 29 and 37. So we're going to torque this. For some reason it said that this one is less torque and this one is more torque. It doesn't make sense to me. It looks like this is 37 and this is 29. So it doesn't make any sense to me, but as long as you torque it within the range, and then you should be fine. I'll put the proper torque specs on the screen, so make sure you torque this, and then we are going to torque that. I'm going to put the proper torque specs on the screen in case if I don't have the torque values correct. So torque the lower control arm nut. This is a 19 mil, and then we are going to torque the pinch bolt, which is a 16 mil for this aftermarket bolt. That was 29. I'm going to put it to 37 for the pinch bolt as it's stated. So we're good. I torqued this to 37 and this to 29. In the service manual or service information, it says to verify and make sure that the step for the lower ball joint is aligned with the steering knuckle. So I already verified that it's lined up properly. So make sure that everything is seated in properly before you torque everything down. So that should be it for this one. Just verify that there's no play, and then you should be all good to go. So just make sure everything looks good. Have a look at the bolt, the pinch bolt. Make sure that the threads has gone all the way through. Clean up the area, and if you need to clean up the brake rotor and stuff with some brake cleaner, and then you should be all good to go. All of this is just the grease that's oozing out from the grease that I put onto the ball joint. So what's left, you just need to install the wheel, and that's it. The torque spec for that, I believe, is 89 foot-pounds. I'll put the proper spec on the screen for you guys, and that's going to be it. Just make sure that you go for a road test, verify the repair, and then you're all good to go. You may or may not need a wheel alignment because you install the ball joint in the same position, so you probably did not affect the wheel alignment much or at all, so you might be okay. But it's always a good idea to do a wheel alignment when you are doing steering and suspension work. One thing I wanted to mention is that I do have a special puller for the Subaru ball joints to pull the ball joint out of the steering knuckle, but it does not always work for me. In this case, I just like to use an air hammer, get onto the edges and to knock them out, and that almost always usually works for me. So that's going to conclude this video for the replacement of the lower ball joint on this 2011 Subaru Outback. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and please don't forget to hit that bell notification if you haven't done so. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.